All right, hello everyone, and welcome to this 14th episode of Riichi Out to Mahjong Friends. Uh,
Yay.
yes, today we have one guest. It's Daniel from Denver, Colorado. Uh, so,
Hey.
um, Hello. The usual thing we do to start off the show is to ask, what club or organization you're a part of, a little bit about your history into Riichi Mahjong, like how you started, and if you have any future goals, whether short term or long term, we'd like you to share them here. So, without further ado, I'll give the floor to Daniel.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Daniel. Sometimes go by Arcuno online. Uh, right now, I'm a part of Boss Stage Arcade and Anime's kind of more casual Mahjong group. We're not exactly official, if, at least for now. I started getting into Mahjong about 12 years ago or so. Had a friend
Really?
in, yeah, had a friend in high school that was kind of nerdy, liked anime and etc. like me, and I just stumbled across the Akagi anime. Thought it was, really not really good. Introduced it to him, and we both decided, hey, we gotta actually learn this game instead of, pretending we know the rules from watching that show, because we didn't know them like at all, even though we watched entirely through the whole thing at least multiple times. And we learned it and kind of learned it wrong. I'm pretty sure, looking back on it, I remember us not exactly knowing, how to set up walls and how to actually score. So we mainly just played with, a couple of friends that we had taught, a couple of members of his family as well. Just basically how to build hands, even if they weren't legal. We were just basically playing to, construct a quote unquote complete hand and be done with it. Didn't even care about score. So did that for about a year, but yeah, the group kind of fell apart for that. And then it was basically a 10-year period. I didn't really have any contact with anybody who knew how to play Mahjong. I didn't even play it online myself. So it was only until maybe like 2-3 years ago, going to a convention, and some people I was friends with at conventions learned that they played Mahjong and knew how to play that, or whatever. And that became a thing for about a year or so, where, at conventions, every 3 months or so, would just find them and sit down at them at a table and play some games of Mahjong for one of the nights, and that'd be it. And kind of got tired of it, being these long stretches without being able to play. And we decided to form just kind of a weekly group where we'd go to one of our houses and trade off and doing that. And we'd usually, get a couple of games in every week. And that's kind of also around the time when Boss Stage was already open, and kind of sort of become acquainted with Kyle, the owner, and would give him some of my old, anime, manga related stuff to sell in his store, just because, I was running out of room. Just like, here, just sell this. So he kind of came to like me just because he was getting free stuff from me, but we still became pretty good friends, through that, and through rhythm games and stuff, which I also play a lot of. And then just randomly one day, I think it was either before I was supposed to be going to play Mahjong for the week or something like that, and just brought it up. Hey, Kyle, how about you learn Mahjong sometime with me? I can teach you that, because I think we were starting to have problems with getting a fourth person every week for that. I think James at that point had joined in to our group as well from a convention we ran into him at. But it's always good to have more people to be able to fill that spot. So that was kind of my motivation behind pushing Kyle to kind of learn it. And he didn't really want to at first. I kept kind of pushing him to do it, and we finally all sat down and he loved it, and other people I taught there loved it. And then it just kind of became a thing. Kind of every time I would go down there, there'd be somebody new around to teach, and so we would slowly build even more people that knew how to play the game up there. And also get kind of just remotivate me to kind of learn the game and get way more into it. So I ended up buying an automatic table, which stayed at my house for maybe 1 month before Kyle wanted me to bring it up to the arcade for them to try out, one day or whatever. And he was like, hey, it's kind of a pain in the ass to bring it down, and you're kind of moving stuff around to be able to make room for it in your place, so why don't you keep it up here for like a week before bringing it down there. And he finally was just like, you know what, Danny, how about I just buy this from you? So there's now an automatic table up there, and he had bought like my previous card table that I played Mahjong on from me as well. And then we started organizing casual tournaments and everything. Nothing really too big. It was literally just an excuse to have a bunch of people play Mahjong until when the sun came down to next morning when the sun was up. So going from like 8 in the evening all the way until 8 in the morning, and then going to like IHOP. And we still occasionally try to run those, and they're still incredibly casual. It's usually everybody pays $10 just to get in or whatever, and there's only about 10 to 12 people to do it. Not a lot of motivation for it, but that kind of gets into kind of what my goals for the future are, is to try to get more people kind of involved with the game and like kind of the competitive aspect of it, so that these tournaments kind of become more of a deal than they have been. And if they do, probably have to run them multiple days instead of just trying to go full 12 hours. Trying to babysit every game to make sure everything's running smoothly. But yeah, that's about my full history with Mahjong there. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, started with watching an anime and then pressuring an arcade owner into learning the game.
Okay, when I visited Denver 2 weeks ago, I have played with a couple players at Denver, and I was, because their level is very good. They play really good. And then in the past months, I think everybody was talking about like when the dealer rolled the dice and who needs to break the wall kind of stuff. But the Denver girl, I think Kelly, yes. Kelly, no hesitation, very smooth, opened up the Toyman 7 smoothly, and then start picking right hand is no problem. And then when they're playing, the speed is like already up there. So I was so surprised. Everybody was very good, and I played with Kyle and also Romeo, and he was
Romel,
pretty
yes.
good too. Yeah, and then also James, as we know.
Mhm.
So my first impression of play against the Denver team was they're already up there somewhere like in top level in the US.
Right. Yeah. I'm sometimes very surprised too about kind of the level that these people I only meant to like teach casually, and how much they've actually kind of looked into strategy in a way and actually kind of learned the game even better than what I do. I still have to, when I roll dice, have to count off the wall in order to find where to take my tiles from when I'm dealer. But yeah, Kelly's way ahead of me from that. A lot of like they're even ahead of me in remembering scoring and stuff. I haven't really committed all that to memory myself. So,
But one more thing that Kelly showed some interesting move was when she was not playing the game, she came take a look at my starting hands, and then she's watching for a while, and then she went to take a look at the James hands, and then after I called Riichi, she came back and then take a look at my the last shape because I choose some kind of tatsu, right? So from there, I could tell her interest was kind of, very good point. Like she's looking up from the other. So kind of stuff never happened to other crafts, I guess. And also, most surprised part was they told me the Daniel, was there teaching to everyone.
yeah.
And then me and Nima, I remember we kind of talked about it last week at the LAPOM. Playing and also teaching is like two different things. The good player not necessarily a good teacher, and a good teacher not necessarily in a good player, right? So I was thinking Daniel must be a really good teacher.
Well, I'm not an incredible player, so I would say probably that's the case.
And they said they only play like for 2 years.
Yes. Yep. It's only been about 2, a little over 2.
So in 2 years, that level, it's amazing.
Yeah, it really surprises me sometimes. And I kind of taught them to do that. Hey, if you're not playing and you're waiting around for a game or something, go ahead and check out how other people play, how they choose their discards and stuff.
Wow. So is there any kind of like, how do you start teaching for the new beginner? And also to when they get into the intermediate, like, is there any kind of secret, like your teaching style?
It kind of depends. I would say kind of the hardest part is just for a lot of people is remembering characters for Monzu and the Winds, and Dragons not so much because those are color coded, but I mean at first we didn't really have cheat sheets for that, so I just kind of had to drill that into their head. But usually I typically start with just I'll give an example of a hand, basically introduce all of the tiles, the different suits and all that stuff, and then basically go over, what is the goal of this game, in the end, what is a completed hand? How do you win with that or whatever? And then we kind of do sort of a mock hand to start with there that usually takes at least like upwards of an hour or more, because I'm going through every single step and showing them with all of our hands revealed as well. the good portion of that is teaching them how where construct your wall, all that stuff. What do the seats mean? All that stuff. And at first I tell them, don't worry too much about this for now. We'll go over it again later. And as they hear repetition of certain phrases or something, they eventually catch on to those things. I'll start out, saying like, okay, we're going to construct the walls, and I'm east seat. To my right is south, west, north, etc. You don't have to remember this. Just build your wall. And let's just start out here. Just remember I'm dealer and I just go first. So, and then, as I'm explaining things, I'll probably, if I draw wins in my hand, I might point out which seats or which tile as well for that, and tell them the significance of their seat, especially if I have their tile or if they have their own tile in their hand, wind in their hand. And
mostly it's like basic stuff, basic way to teach from the online.
Yeah, kind of. And we just go through that first hand, really slow, like I said, and also play it open and just kind of give them the idea where and I try not to even include kind of exceptions to the rule. I don't really mention all pairs or 7 pairs, or I try to avoid ever mentioning 13 orphans because it gives people kind of ideas early on. Although I have noticed that with a lot of new players that they develop kind of the instant you kind of mention that there's exceptions to rules and kind of odd rules that aren't part of the standard set there, they'll kind of try to come up with them by themselves without you even mentioning things, but usually they're all incorrect, such as you'll mention wins and you'll mention the order of the wins or whatever, but you mentioned previously what a chi is, or what a run is, and they'll instantly put it together in their head. Oh, can I create a run of wins where it's east, south, and west, and that counts as a run? And I've had to, and I've gotten into the habit of every time I say that, like, here's the order of the wins, and I mentioned what a run is before, I will immediately kind of interrupt their thinking and say, now don't get it into your head that you can create a run with these. and more often than not, they'll say, oh, I almost just thought that before you said that. So it's sort of interesting how new players' thinking kind of goes
and
in
then
that direction. So,
Daniel, I have a very, very serious question. We have tested out teaching to totally beginner American players past 2 years, and then some of the other clubs also are facing the similar problem, I believe. When you start teaching new players, some of them, I should say most of them, they are not coming back somehow. Does that happen to you as well, or is there any other secret that you keep attract them to coming back?
It's kind of hard to say because a lot of I'm trying to think of how many people have really stayed or left. We've taught a lot. I would say we've retained most of them. Most of them play at least a little bit or whatever. Kyle might, pressure them into a game or whatever if they're around. And I'd say it kind of depends on the person. I just know, I think there's, a few people we taught that they just don't seem to, I mean, there's some that don't seem to get the game and they continue, playing because they still enjoy it. But a lot of the ones we've kind of lost are just people that don't seem like they really get the game too much, even after being taught, and just decide to stop playing. But I would say most of the people we've taught, I'd say maybe even over half of them have stuck around at least in some way. They at least retain the knowledge of how to play. And if you are around and ask them to join you in a game, they probably will.
I see.
But if we mention hey, we're doing like a tournament thing, they might not show up for that. So
I see. Nima,
that's.
Could you roll down the website a little bit to show their pictures? Because I think that's one of the reasons. Their atmosphere, because of the special venue, this looks kind of interesting. Yep. You see the arcade games, the DDR. So the Kyle, let's talk about Kyle. He's lost in the Rocky Mountain right now. So he is trying to come back, and then when he could come back, he was gonna join the conversation. But this is their store. I mean, his store with the anime stuff and also arcade games. So which is super fun. That's why, and also Kyle talks a lot. I think he talked to everyone. But
he's a really friendly guy. That's kind of why a lot of people are attracted to Boss Stage. So,
and then he told me, I don't know if you went together or not, but they actually they made a group and then they flew to Japan. Of course, went to some anime otaku stuff a little bit, and then one thing surprised the story was they went to Janso to play.
Yes, so that was me getting them to do that.
You went together?
Yeah, we went to Japan last year in October, and I mentioned I have this like really old guidebook, like this like nerdy otaku culture guidebook that I got like I want to say 6 or 7 years ago in a bookstore or whatever, and it mentioned a Jonso in it in Akihabara. And I think the first time I went to Japan, like when was that? Like when I was 22, so like 7 years ago or more. It might have been when I was 21. I did consider going to that, but the person I was going with didn't know anything about Mahjong. I didn't really want to go by myself. But it was the perfect opportunity because I was going with Kyle in October of last year, and I remembered this guidebook, and I was like, I wonder if this Jonso still exists, and it did, and it's a no rate Jonso, seemed real casual. They have a this like RPG system with their Mahjong that they also use.
Yeah,
that's a bit weird.
Other clubs member they're making comment a little bit, but see, Denver has the experience, so guys watch out. And also Nima, Ashley, I think she's from Oklahoma.
Yes.
Also Rachel from San Francisco is recommending teaching Tibetan style works the best. And also she said, Rachel said it's very good. And also, Nima, can you tell everybody a little bit, because we kind of start working a way to different way of teaching, mixed up with some mini games.
Right. So, I think what we would start with for someone who just is completely new to Mahjong is Mahjong Bingo, and I think that's a good.
Sounds fun, right?
I've actually never played it, but it's a good way to teach everyone the tiles. You pretty much just get like a a 4x4 grid of 16 tiles, and then you take turns and you just tsumogiri. You draw a tile and then you play it, and then any tiles that anyone has that match that tile get flipped over. And so once you make a bingo, horizontally, vertical, diagonally, anyone, then you win that hand, right? So
yeah, and then the most important is when you discard a tile, you need to mention what tile, the tile name, like 2-pin or 3-man, or when they call it from Barbary, you know, it's having fun. At the same time, they're memorizing. You know, they start memorizing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's the main part. And then
Okay, that's an interesting way to do it. Yeah.
Step 2, go ahead, Nima.
And then next, I guess, would be the Tibetan style that everyone's mentioning in the comments. So that you pretty much just start with a 4-tile hand with just Pinzu tiles, right? Because those are the easiest ones to read. And so with that 4-tile hand, instead of 13 tiles, where you try and make 4 sets of 3 and a pair, you just make 1 set of 3 and a pair. So it's like the very, very basic introduction to like building a hand. And then as the new players start to get it, you can progress to 7 tiles and 10 tiles, and then add another suit, and just keep progressing until they get up to a full hand of 13 tiles. So the downside with that is that you don't like use any yaku. So you're just teaching them how to make a complete hand. They don't really care so much about how much it would be worth in a real game, but it at least gives them the idea of like what to like aim for when they're playing. Like maybe they'll pick up some basic efficiency through that method.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and that also gives you a way to play without the Manzu tiles, right? The ones that it's hard for people to read.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting way to do it.
Yeah, and then step 3.
Step 3, you could start introducing yaku at that point, just slowly, and the order is kind of tough, but what we do at LAPOM is we have a set of Suzumejang, and it's pretty much just like mini Mahjong with only Sozu tiles and Hatsu and Chun. So it has like a point limit that you have to hit to win a hand, so it kind of introduces that aspect of Mahjong into it. So
yeah, and then also the point movement with the Tsumo and the Won.
Right, yes. So it's the points are very simple. You just have to make a 5 or more point hand, and if you win by Don, you get 5 points from the person who dealt in. If you win by Tsumo, you get like 5 points or however many points your hand is worth from everyone. So it's a little bit different in that respect, but it gives an idea of how like the scoring kind of works. It gives them an idea of how to make hands that are worth enough points to win, right?
Right. And also we kind of talked about yesterday, like you using like not the Suzumejan tile, but from the regular set, they could just make it up like similar Suzumejan types with the 1 suit plus 2 owner tiles, 2 kinds of owner tiles. Yeah, so
Right, okay.
maybe we should write about the articles, and then maybe we should make some video introduction for those too.
Yeah, that could work. The thing is with Suzumejang, they have like 1 red tile, like one of each number tile is red, like red 5s like Dora. So those are worth points. So it throws the balance off a little bit if you don't have those, but I'm pretty sure we could figure out a way to make it work.
So just change the rule set a little bit, like make it down, but still having fun at the same time, right? And then step 4.
Is there a step 4? Don't you just jump right into the game?
Have fun.
Like when they start learning the yaku, we divide it by some similar category of yaku, and then take it out like some of the tile. Okay, this one I'm kind of doing for the classes going on right now. So let me explain. So first, the most common one, pinku, right? And then I'm named this one for like pinku combo. So pinku, what's good with the combo? It's sanshoku, itsu, what else? Ipeko, or something like that. So we just do like a pinku combination for about for 2 hours, and then next session we just do the chitoitsu or toitoi. So we take it out all the even number and just use the odds number. So eventually it becomes the chitoitsu or toitoi, right?
That's an interesting way of teaching that.
Yeah, I did it, and then it's funny because last class we didn't use this one, and then we just went through all the textbook stuff, and then the students, they in the later stage after the class finished, they still get confused and they're not memorizing the yaku. They know looks like it, but they make some kind of mistakes. But when we do in this way, because of it, they just did it for many times, so they kind of they can say the yaku's name, but they know what's what. And then third step, we used only chanta tiles. So we take it out like all the 4, 5, 6. And then we're doing like chanta or juncha. And then after that, hongitsu or chinitsu. And then later on, some other yaku, like unusual ones. And maybe yakuman. But I have tested out in this way for 4th session right now. And it looks like we have 2 students. They are catching up pretty good. So from my experience, it is working. And then most important part is no Riichi or no yakai until in a certain time, which is most at the end. Because this makes their habit to depend on the any time they have a yakai tower, they just call it pon. Or if they know like Riichi, then they just do it Riichi without yaku. Of course, Riichi is yaku, but that becomes a habit. And then they don't memorize the yaku for later situation. So we're kind of taking out for until the later situation to limit their what they can do. But this is kind of working better. I would say, yeah.
Yeah, that's like the opposite of how teaching is normally done. Like they teach, like normally you would teach easy yaku like yakuhai, tanyao, Riichi. You teach them all first. So even if the new players don't know all the yaku in the game, they can still jump in, they could play, and they can actually make hands and not chombo a bunch, right? So
yeah.
But yeah, but then if that's the case, then they kind of, like you said, they would rely on those yaku, the easy ones, and not look for the other ones.
Yeah, that makes kind of confusing, right? Every time for the beginners. So I take it off like unnecessary towels and just focusing on couple yakus. And then the good thing is it's kind of mini game every session. So right now our students, they're a little older age group, so they don't smile that much. But every time it's a mini game, so looks like it's in a good reputation. I hope.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds good. It takes a lot longer for them to get into a real game, but once they do, they have much more knowledge than like a new player who is taught by the older methods would have, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because most of the time you just teach the basic yaku, and then they'll want to jump in, they'll play like a flash game or a tenho or some other thing like that, and the score is done automatically, so they just have to have a yaku and hit the win button, and then everything else is done for them. So they can just rely on that and not really learn about the other yaku, because even if they just by chance happen to get one, like they just happen to get Sanshoku, it'll pop up on the screen and just be like, you got Sanshoku, but they'll be like, I have no idea what that is, and they may or may not bother to look it up. But yeah, teaching all the hard yaku first, or not the hard ones, the normal ones that are not as common as like Riichi and Yakuhai Tanyao, and then teaching those three last. That will help their knowledge of the game going in.
Yeah. And then one another story that surprised me at the Denver was some of them, they say they are going to New York Open coming up on this October. So Daniel, can you tell us a little bit about who's going?
I don't remember who entirely, because I know what Kyle's going, I believe. And then there is Pierce, who's been going to the arcade a lot as well. He's one of the people who mainly plays Mahjong when he's down there. And he lived in Japan for quite a while. I believe most of his childhood was spent in Japan. And also Daniel, the other Daniel, is going, I believe, right? Yeah, and he's the one that kind of all of us know is good at Mahjong. All of us are kind of afraid of him in that way. Because out of, I think we've held something like 7 or 8 tournaments, and he's won at least 4 of them.
Ooh,
so,
and then he came to the LAPOM championship too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Yep, he's a good, and he's also helping us to do some translation work for the new website too.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Nima, he's.
Let's show Nam. Oh yeah, screens already. So recently, finally, New York Open announced the schedule. So let's go talk about a little bit on the schedule with the Daniel.
Mm-hmm. So it's October 13th and 14th.
2 days.
Looks like 9 Hanchan.
9 Hanchan.
Yeah, this is the whole schedule. There's nothing else. Yeah, 9 Hanchan.
Okay, but the 9 Hanchan. But probably like most common format and 6 or 7, and they get cut off, right? Probably.
It looks like, if I remember correctly, it's 7 Hanchan before the cutoff.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Yes, first 7 Hanchan, and then after that, the top 4 get to go on to the finals. The 8th and 9th Hanchan.
So Daniel, is that your first time for the tournament?
I will not be joining, actually. So.
And I heard Denver is doing the monthly tournament stuff, so they are kind of experienced. So do you have any secret plan for preparing for this tournament?
No, not really.
Yeah, but
most of the people going there just going for the heck of it. So.
Yeah, right now Nima is showing the screen, and they're gonna use the WRC rule set, which is like no red Dora, no any other Tochu Ryukyokus and stuff. So you guys should start playing with the no Aka Dora, I think, for the practice.
You think we would, but we haven't.
Oh yeah,
I don't think any of us are preparing too well for it. Daniel might be, but I mean he's busy with Evo right now, so
that brings up. Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
but that brings up a good point. Like, what rule set do you guys use for your tournaments and I guess your casual play as well?
We just use kind of the standard like Ari kind of rule set there. We do have like a few house rules just in terms of certain things like hand resets and other things like that. We also have just a couple of silly things, I think, just to make things a little more interesting at times. So.
Yeah, it seems like every club uses their own different rule set. from all the people I've talked to from the various organizations.
Yeah, ours doesn't differentiate too much from just kind of what Ari and about it, but yeah, there's just maybe a couple of things that are out of the ordinary.
So no one's really practicing for the New York Open then, huh?
I wouldn't say so. I'd say they're probably just gonna go into it blind and hopefully be able to do well without that. I should maybe, ask if Kyle's doing that, but I don't think because he would have to switch out his red tiles in the automatic table, and that's too much work for him to do.
Oh, it's not that hard.
It's not, but still gonna be lazy about it. He has to find the original tiles anyway. He probably has them stuffed in a drawer somewhere.
I guess so.
So there's another comment from Ashley. Zach and I go to the New York Open, and recently I see some of the PML chat group. I think some of them are going too. So that's gonna be really good competition. Daniel, are you excited?
I'm excited to see how well everybody else does, because I'm just gonna be sitting on the side watching from Colorado. So
I this time I cannot go, but I give you advice. This is very serious advice. Okay, watch out for Rachel.
All right.
Yep.
Be sure to tell Daniel that and not Kyle.
Rachel is hot right now. She won the team tournament at the LAPOM this February, and also last month from the Seattle Riichi Open, she won the title too. So she is very dangerous. That's my advice. Nima, do you have any other advice?
Other than actually practicing for the rule set.
I mean, that would be the best advice, I think, to actually practice. But
we got a few people that are too reliant on red fives. So.
But yeah, I know there's some strong players from PML, including Rachel, who are going to be there. But other than that, I don't know who else. I mean, obviously Daniel from PML is going to be there because he's at every single event ever, no matter where it is in the world. Yeah.
And also the Silvan might go too. The Silvan 2.0, which he played a lot recently at the LAPOM, so he should be getting stronger.
Is anyone else from LAPOM going?
I don't hear anybody from LAPOM. It's very far and it's cost a lot. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, from like West Coast to East Coast, that's the travel cost, everything. Taking the day off. Anyway.
Yeah, and I think some of it is a lot of the Mahjong tournaments in the United States. A lot of the players who go to them just go for the experience, right? They're not super duper serious about it, but in a lot of parts of the U.S., there's not really any clubs that they can go to play regularly. So these tournaments are their best chance to be able to play with real tiles for like a whole weekend, just 2 straight days of Mahjong. So for a lot of people, it's more about the experience than the competition. So the main thing is to have fun. But if you want to do well, you got to prepare, right?
Yep. Get a lot of practice. Okay, and I think we have 20 minutes to go. So let's show some of our work. We are working on the website. So I think Daniel cannot see, but
okay, here it is.
So those are the websites we are working on right now. We see Ashley on top corner, and also we have Tenko's information page, and then some of the articles from Mahjong Watch. And Nima-kun, can you scroll down a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So those are some of the articles we are writing about. And some of them it's getting old, but we gotta hurry up.
Yeah, I haven't been doing much for this, but I know Masa and Junko have been working very hard on this website.
Yeah, so basically, after we launch this website, we wanna add, we wanna put like a lot of news from Japan and also the news from local in the United States go first, because some of the so we want get the writer from each club to write about the like their league updates, any kind of events, anything is welcome. So we want to write it in so that everybody can just take a look and see what's going on. Oh yeah, here is some of the numerous translation work from Mahjong no Takumi's things and stuff, and also we wrote about some of the M League, like Oklahoma City new branch. Yep. So we gotta hurry up.
Yeah, any idea when the website is going to be officially launched?
We were planning during the August, but we have some more stuff needs to add up. So as soon as possible. So Daniel, you could write your Denver's league updates or some events updates in the future. Please let us share.
Yeah, it might take us a little while to get things together for that. Probably once Boss Stage's website gets up, we might have some Mahjong associated stuff with that as well. So
yeah. Oh, Nima-kun, I think you can show the club map.
Okay. Here it is.
So this website we are not making only for LAPOM. We are making for everyone. It's club or the players. They cannot find the club. So we're making those Mahjong maps, and then you could go to any of the logo. You could jump to their websites and stuff. And also we need to add Colorado soon. And we know there's some on Indiana, Ohio, and we know there's one in Minneapolis. I know big cities, they might have like 2, 3, multiple clubs. So anybody that want to open up the club, please let us know. We're going to update. Of course, Hawaii and Alaska is welcome too. And then after we kind of get used to for hosting those websites and stuff, we're gonna next step is gonna be maybe other countries, include Japan. Maybe.
right.
Yep. So that's something we are working on.
We have to get together with a logo, like T-shirts and stuff.
Yeah,
and we already.
Do you guys
came
have
up with
any designers that could make the logos and stuff?
Yeah, I came name and have a sort of idea for the logo. So yeah, we'll be working on that.
Okay.
What's up, guys?
Whoop.
Oh, it looks like
What?
we have
Who's
a
this?
special guest.
Who could it
Hello.
be?
Are you acting as Kyle?
I guess. I guess I'm Kyle's replacement.
He's over 30. He said he would be there 30 minutes late, and he's definitely not here still.
Yeah. This is a bit later than that.
So who is this, please?
This is James from
hey,
Colorado.
Came in at just the right moment, James. We were talking about the subtleties of Rocky Mountain Mahjong.
Oh, of course. So
No, we weren't.
before we got too serious into it, 'cause it's pretty silly.
So James, please tell us a little bit about the Rocky Mountain rule set.
So Rocky Mountain, you just basically make up whatever rules you want. So, you can make it so there's like you play Mario Party after everyone's in Note 10. Or, let's see, you can. Oh, when you flip over the door indicator, if it like flips over twice, so it flips back on its bottom, you can make it so like nobody, like anyone who didn't see it, doesn't get to know the Dora. So you have to like quickly look at the door and see what it was while it's like flipping over.
That's a creative way to do that.
Oh yeah, yeah. It makes people really make sure that they get it right, so that they don't just flip it over twice in a row.
So Nima, I'm sorry, I kept the secret, but me and James was, chatting a little bit, and maybe if Kyle cannot show up, a surprise guest. So this is the James from Denver, and is it okay to tell who you are, James?
Yeah, totally.
So he is a Sonic crazy. So he was on the previous show, and now he's on the episode 14.
Yeah, I don't think Dan even knows my online name.
So he's the one doing a lot of for the Fukumoto crazy.
Yep.
Okay.
Right now, you guys are translating Kaiji, right? The Kaiji
we're
manga.
on 24 Oku Dashutsuhan. We just finished one poker a while ago.
So Daniel surprised?
Yeah, I don't know. I translate stuff myself, so.
Yeah, you translate like Guro and stuff like that, right?
No, I don't.
No, you don't?
I translate Yuri, and Guro was a byproduct of that.
Oh, okay. So like some of it got classified as Guro.
Yes.
I see.
I had James even kept the secret for the Denver.
Yeah, the only one who knows is Mike. I just told him in private one time. But
So now
Okay.
everybody listening, and I hope that they get surprised.
yeah. I don't know. I just haven't
And now
like
I know.
it wasn't like a secret that I've been keeping on purpose. It's just kind of like I haven't had a chance to bring it up, and I didn't want to brag about it. And I kind of like having like people just like me for who I am rather than, what I do. So that's
James-
kind of
I kind of had a hint when I discussed my scanlation drama that one time that you kind of had an idea of what was involved. So
yeah. I just couldn't bring myself to like tell you, oh, I'm that guy who translates Kaiji.
So James, I have a question.
Yeah.
Are you a Spider-Man?
What?
Are you a Spider-Man?
Am I a Spider-Man?
You kept the secret, who you are.
Oh. I guess I do have a secret superpower that nobody knows about. So yeah, I guess that makes me Spider-Man. Sure, I'll accept that.
So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So James, anything else? Daniel, you want to talk about from the Colorado team? Let's recruit.
I mean, I just all I want to talk about is just how I met these guys, because
Okay.
the way that I met all these people, because you guys were all playing Mahjong before you even knew that I was a person that existed.
yeah.
So like, I think I was doing a Twitch stream of Mahjong, and one of my regulars, Nemi, introduced me to DDR Dan, and he was like, "Oh yeah, there's some guys that play Mahjong in Colorado all the time," and I'm like, "What? Do they?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'll introduce you to them." And they gave me Trevor's phone number, and I contacted Trevor, and I was like, "Hey, I'm Sonic Crazy. I'm the guy who translates Kaiji. Could you introduce me to your Mahjong group?" And there was silence, and I was like, "Okay, this is not going anywhere." So I just went. I stalked you guys to your meetup at Anime Southwest, and you were doing or Trevor was hosting
Yeah, he did the Mahjong panel.
yeah, Mahjong panel, and I just showed up, and he was like, "Oh, do you know what this weight is? Like this weight is in the picture?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's 2 5-pin and 3 mon." And he was like, "What 5-pin? I thought it was a shabo." And I was like, "No, it's a irregular weight on 2 5-pin and 3 mon." And he was like, "What? Really? Oh, okay." And so I like, and he was like, "Wow, you know Mahjong really well." I don't know. But then after that, it took a while for me to even like convince you guys to let me join. So that's all I wanted to say, really.
Well, because yeah, I didn't. Yeah, the first time I ran into you was when you were actually at one of our games, wasn't it? I didn't actually see you at any of the conventions, did I?
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I didn't see you until then.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know what was holding them back from inviting you, but whatever.
I just wanted to do the wrong thing, I guess.
We just wanted to keep Henry as our partner.
Yeah, Henry was the MVP with his 1 hour and 30 minutes late every time. But yeah, whatever. No big.
Yeah, but that's
Now we've got a like weekly meetup going that like we have a bunch of players that we shuffle through, and we they already knew how to play and stuff. Did Mike like learn first? I know he was like into anime and stuff and like Akagi and all that.
Mike yeah, he already knew how to play. What it was basically kind of similar. They were just playing Mahjong at a convention, and I joined in. I knew Mike and Henry already. They were just kind of like convention friends. And I think it was Trevor. I think he was like just walking around with like a Mahjong set or something. I think this is when like Daniel ran a Mahjong panel. And I was like, yeah, let's all play whatever. It kind of just went like that. It's like, hey, let's play. And then I, at one point, I think that's when I maybe said, like, hey, let's just get together at somebody's house.
Yeah, just
over
do a
the
meetup.
weekend to do this. And, brought along that flimsy, card table.
Yeah.
Yep. And Mike ended up buying it from the same shifty place that I did.
Oh yeah, Mike has his own automatic Mahjong table now.
Yeah.
That like actually functions as a regular table too. So yeah.
Table?
What?
He had to be jealous when I got the automatic table.
Oh yeah.
Myself, and then ended up just tossing it away to boss tape. So
yeah, he just sold it away, and he was like, "God damn it! I wanted to play Mahjong on an automatic table. I'm gonna get my own."
Yeah, but
that's what he did.
So guys, what's like a simple difference between hand shuffle and auto table? What's your experience?
From the new table and the old table, you mean?
No. From hand shuffle to auto table.
Oh, well, it's quicker for one thing, and there's less room for cheating for another thing.
Yeah, but sometimes, there's less room for like stupid shenanigans that happen during the shuffling, like throwing all of the north winds you find towards Mike.
Yeah, that's true.
Was a thing. I think we did that before you came along.
Oh, really? Oh, you like
it's kind of a stupid thing we did. Yeah.
Okay.
Just, like I hate the north wind and throwing it towards Mike, and then we get to Mike's wall and everybody's drawing north winds.
And then you blame him. You're like, Mike, why are we drawing north winds? God damn it, Mike.
I don't think anybody really ever cheated no, not really, other than maybe putting certain tiles in the wall but not remembering where they were.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to cheat. You gotta have skill. You gotta be legendary gambler level to do it.
Nima, do you have any other question to them?
Oh yeah, so James, are you going to the New York Open?
Yes.
Yes.
Ooh. Even tougher.
So what we've heard so far is that you're not practicing at all at the
rule set.
normal meetups.
Hmm?
You're not practicing the WRC rule set. You're using red fives, your own What did you
Yeah,
call it?
kinda.
Rocky Mountain Mahjong rule set?
I mean, no, that's something totally different. That's the stupid like Calvin ball rules that we have. But no, I don't know. We just do. We actually just like whenever a situation comes up, we're like, what do we do here? And then we just decide on the spot. And then we're like, okay, that's what we'll do from now on. So like, for example, when like two people run on a single tile, we're like, okay, what do we do now? And we're like, okay, do we do head bumps or double run? Well, what does Danny think? He says that we do head bumps. Okay, we're doing head bumps from now on. And then that's just what we do.
Don't you guys fight?
Yes, we fight quite a bit, but eventually somebody wins, and then that's the victor, and they rule for all time. And that particular
we haven't
aspect
had
of
anything. We haven't had anything too bad. Maybe
Yeah, I mean,
like the one thing with me and Trevor, and that was like it.
Yep. So Denver
other than that, it's just like certain people getting salty that I won't name. But
so Denver seems like they have their own competitiveness.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, we're
We
competitive
have-
in our own way.
But I kind of like it though.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, we treat it more like a video game, really. I would say, rather than a board game. We like treat it like a competitive like fighting game or whatever.
But yeah, so it's not necessary. But in certain time, your seriousness has to get involved to pass
Yeah.
certain level, right? So the great competition, who beat who, and then next day somebody beat the who. So that's kind of important.
Yeah.
yeah, we don't keep track of how many times we win too often. I'd say the most we keep track of is how many times Mike loses.
Oh yeah, Mike gets the worst luck
Oh,
I've
but
ever seen.
for listeners, don't get wrong. Their manner is very nice. Their playing manner is very nice. I don't know who
To
taught,
guest.
but very good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, part of that is because you were a guest at Boss Stage, and we were on our best behavior. That was part of it.
Yeah, your best behavior. Yeah, if you go there enough, you'll learn that we like busting each other's chops a lot when playing Mahjong. So
As the game began, nobody speaks. So I felt like, oh, I'm playing at the LAPOM, kind of. It's so quiet. So I asked them, do you guys play like this serious every time? They said, no.
No, it's just because you're here.
But yeah, at the tournament, don't talk a lot, okay? You get penalized.
Yeah, obviously.
yeah, if two boss stage people end up at the same table, that might happen accidentally.
Yeah, they might flip a table or something.
Yeah, at boss stage, there's a lot of shit talking
Oh, and one more
at
thing.
tables.
One more thing. You guys should practice the Tezumi too, hand shuffle.
Mm. Oh, really?
Yeah, I think New York will be hand shuffle.
I mean, we have to because we only have one automatic table. So for tournaments and stuff, we have to do it like hand shuffle. Tezumi.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, we all know how to do that. I'm pretty sure when I first teach people, I also do on the manual table. Usually, I haven't taught somebody in a while, but I think I make it a point to do on a manual shuffle.
Yeah, and then you make it so like, oh, once you get good at this game, you can go to the automatic table. And then
yeah,
there's
that's the
incentive to
big
get
ones.
good. Yeah.
And then also for listeners who participate for the New York Open, everybody watch out for Denver. They
Oh, yeah.
do tsubame gaishi kind of stuff. So everybody needs to watch out their hands.
Tengo, churen poto.
Okay. I think the show went really fun. So
Oh, I actually had one more question.
okay, go ahead.
Okay, so at the very beginning of the stream, Daniel mentioned teaching new players, but also helping the players that already have become more competitive, and that's also something that we've been kind of thinking about at LAPOM. Like, how do you get a casual player, or how do you encourage them to become more competitive at the game to want to improve? Have you, Daniel and James, have you guys have any thoughts about that?
I just like to be nice to them and like to, personally, like this. I'm not speaking for Danny here, but personally, I just like to like kind of tell them, oh, you know what, like I understand what you did there, and like that's kind of normal, but you need to understand that that's not how you win at Mahjong. Like when someone like makes an open con from a closed hand, I'm like, okay, I get you want more Dora. You were thinking about hitting Dora 4, but you need to understand that's not the right way to do it.
I love how that's the example you have all
Yeah,
prepared
no,
for
that's
that.
my key example.
Yeah, I often hope that they do run into a situation where a new player calls con randomly and then deals into somebody with like 8 Dora. But I mean, that'll teach them. I'll definitely teach them not to do that. But I do kind of backseat the newer players in a way. Sometimes I'll just wait until the hand's over to kind of point out some things they could have done differently. Yeah, you
never like criticize them in front of other people. Like say, oh, you should have done this, then he would have done that. That makes them embarrassed and frustrated.
Yeah.
If Kyle was left to teach everybody and I wasn't involved at all, there wouldn't be any players at Boston. Because he just berates everybody.
But James, when that stuff kind of happened, but you don't talk, but you kind of give them a look, right?
Like
I mean, I will.
That's
like
what
when
I
people
do
are being
too.
too aggressive or whatever, when they're like criticizing people. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do, pretty much.
I do it too.
Yeah.
Well, like occasionally I'll kind of whisper to him like, "Why did you do that?"
Or like, are you serious? Kind of look, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it from me. Did either of you have any last comments?
Mahjong is fun. Mahjong
Yeah. Yeah. I would say that's the number one thing for getting people to stick with the game and actually get better at it is to make it fun for them.
Very nice.
Yeah, I would say most of the people that don't like frequent boss stage for Mahjong are ones that like don't have like fun with it every time they play. Other than Pierce. Pierce is masochistic. So,
Oh yeah, he got wrecked at last tournament. He was so mad. I could just tell from watching him.
when is he ever not mad?
I don't. Well, I mean, I haven't been around him too much, so I can't really say.
Okay, he's mad plenty. So,
Okay. I guess I'll have to wonder
that. Like he's a good player, just he's kind of almost as unlucky as Mike in a way, and he gets way angrier than Mike does.
Oh yeah, Mike doesn't get angry. He just like laughs at his misfortune.
But I would recommend after games you guys should shake hands like baseball.
Yeah, that would be a good habit to start.
Yeah, leave it on the table.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, nobody usually has like. We try not to be like hard feelings when boss stage. The only people who usually like Pierce getting angry might push players away a bit, and Kyle kind of berating people for how they play. It might be kind of like that. But other than that, we're usually lighthearted about everything. But just a couple of people have bad habits about making it unfun.
I mean, it's all a gamer atmosphere, so I mean, it's all fun and games in the end.
Mention about the Kyle. He's supposed to come back from the Rocky Mountain to join the conversation, but I guess he couldn't make it on time. Now I'm hoping he could survive and come back to the Denver.
No, he's dead.
Okay,
All I can assume.
Yeah, I have a last question for you guys. Are you all Mahjong friend? No. Are we all Mahjong friend?
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
of course.
major Mahjong friends.
Thank you very much. Okay, Nima, you could close it up.
All right. So with that question, that's the signal for the end of the stream. All right. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, James and Daniel, for joining us. And thanks to our viewers for watching. And that's it. Good night.
Good night.
Oyasumi
Thanks for
nasai.
having me. Night.